Hi. So you know what's weird? When people put a whole bunch of letters at the end of a word that you can't actually pronounce out, you know, it's like, let's just type something witty here. Holla back. The bunch of K's. Surely this will emphasize my point. But no, what's really weird is how people talk about violence. As in, when they talk about violent movies, they say, I don't want my kid to watch this because it might give him nightmares. You know, which is pretty bad. But then when they talk about video games, they say, I don't want my kid to play this violent video game because it'll make him into a killer. Which seems like a bit of an extreme. I mean, I play video games and I'm not violent.
Oh.
No! No! Oh, no! 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 Get up! Get up!
I'm sorry! No! I'm sorry!
No! No, but it seems like the whole violent video games create violent people seems to come from, like, the news and just, like, all these sensationalist sources, and I feel like all of them are misguided, at least most of them. And a phrase that I see brought up in a lot of these arguments or discussions is the phrase parental group. Like, I'm not entirely sure what a parental group is. Like, they'll say something like, this parental group finds out that this movie is actually bad for your kids. Don't let them watch it, that'll be bad for them. Or don't buy them this game, they'll turn into a killer. It's like, when I picture a parental group, here's what I see.
Yes!
Oh, really? Commence. Yes. Any notable findings? Demon Seed?
Indeed.
Yes, an interesting subject. We've discussed this one before. Almost discussed it to death.
I still don't like it.
Kind of like the font?
At all.
It's my favorite. Shut up.
Favorite? What do you mean it's your favorite?
Look at that angry European.
Should be the first clue, right here. See that? He's staring at our children.
Have you guys even played it?
Shut up! How about something to be really offended about?
Ooh. It's time for some complaints.
You know, like, is it just people that sit around and talk about potentially offensive things? As if they're going to, like, barge into your house and make you look at them? I don't think that happens. I think parents have a lot more choice than these things suggest. I mean, for the most part, parents buy basically everything for their kids, at least a majority of the time, unless their kid has a job, in which case they're probably old enough to decide, you know, what's best for them. I mean, I don't think this happens all that often.
Hey, Dad?
Oh my god, what?
Can I go somewhere?
Where are you gonna go?
KB Toys?
And, what are you gonna be getting there?
Toys?
Yeah.
Yay! I'll never see it coming.
No, I don't think that happens all that often. Hopefully. Because I don't think $60 can disappear all that easily. It's like, whoops, where'd that go? Why does my kid have a new game? That's weird. I think if a kid shows interest in something that is probably more violent than they're used to, I think a parent needs to just talk to them about it, not just restrict it altogether. I think that's bad. But these are just my opinions. I'm going to turn it over to the interviews now. What was the first rated R movie you ever saw?
Shining.
When did you see it?
7, and I saw The Shining because my parents were, really mean, and they pretty much forced me to watch it because it's like one of their favorite movies.
But your parents forced you to watch The Shining?
Yeah.
Why did they do that?
I don't know.
Did it scare your pants off?
Yes. like they had to deal with it for like a year afterwards. So I had like recurring nightmares of like the little child like coming into my room and like me hearing and yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was the film The Last Samurai with Mr. Cruz and Ken Watanabe. Yeah, I feel like I could have understood it at a younger age as well, but the amount of stabbing, skewering, hack slashing probably would have been a bummer.
I think Anaconda.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
Did you watch it by choice?
No.
No.
No. Cousin made me do it.
How did you feel about it?
I hate snakes, man.
Because of the movie or already?
Already. I was afraid of snakes, and it was just like a giant snake eating a person, and I thought, no.
Did it give you nightmares?
Yeah.
What was your first violent video game?
I think Half-Life. I think it's either half.
The first one?
Yeah, it's either Half-Life or Dead Rising.
When did you play either of those?
I know I got Half-Life 1 when I was 10. It was pretty awesome.
Of your own volition?
Yeah.
Did it give you nightmares like The Shining?
Oh no.
A couple times playing Halo, but before that, probably just like little animations in the first like Warcraft or Warcraft 3, where it's just essentially little trolls exploding into red pixels, so nothing really impactful. But other than that, probably just playing arcade games where you go into mansions or whatever, or kill zombies or that sort of thing.
What do you think about the whole violent games create violent people debate?
I think violence has been happening long before video games. I mean, it's just kind of human instinct.
Yeah, I mean, it's really easy to like connect those dots.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that if you're gonna make that big of a statement, it should be that easy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, people who are unstable or do violent things, you know, probably had problems prior to their exposure to this sort of content.
I mean, I watched this woman at GameStop buy her son just some crazy violent video game, and the person selling it lists off all these things as to why it's rated M, and the mother's just like, okay. Like, huh.
So do you think they just kind of ignored the rating system?
Yeah, definitely.
You know, I don't think there should be an age limit. You know, just because it says mature doesn't mean that you can relate maturity to age. I think more intense or more graphic films have been around for long enough that they've become more acceptable.
Yeah.
Just through repetition and through critics, and you know what you're getting into. And you do as well with games, because they too have ratings. But with games, it's kind of like there's always been an understanding that they're not always for young people, but that's who usually has the most interest in them.
Watch it first and think of yourself when you were, I don't know, 15, 16 years old.
Yeah.
And think about, you know, are you really sheltering your child and helping them, or are you just sheltering them and setting them up for a big letdown?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely, if you're watching a lot of news, it's almost a constant, like every story is about something, a tragedy, kidnapping, you know, conflict, especially overseas. There's always people dying every day because of problems, and it gets so much coverage when there's a lot of positive stories out there too.
Yeah.
That we really don't hear about. I mean, you have to go to really alternative news sources to hear about anything other than political or that are covering conflict.
I don't want to censor my child's world, but
Yeah.
I feel like there's an age limit of letting them do that. I mean, I'm not going to take a 5-year-old to go see a rated R movie.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they're still young, they're still impressionable.
Yeah.
But if they're like 12, 13, then yeah, of course, I'll buy it for them.
Don't make it something about fearing the content, because I don't think violent video games are going to go away, violent movies are going to go away, and there's definitely some really intense ones out there, some that kind of, you know, have a gag reflex almost just because it's so over the top.
Yeah.
But, you know, as long as you're conveying how it makes you feel, I guess, then
Yeah.
I think you're going to make the right decision with your kid.
Any last words?
Video games are awesome.
Go get your gun, and let's find out what it does. Shoot,